You know him. He's been a visitor here once before. I think he's a regular on the Tom Hartman show, and he's a powerhouse in the fight to protect and expand Social Security and Medicare. These are tough times for him, but he's executive director of Social Security Works. He leads a coalition of 340 plus organizations that collectively represent over 50 million Americans. In plain talk, he digs into the trenches of policy and media, and he pens passionate op-eds on seniors, prescription drugs, government accountability. The work he does is so very valuable, and I'm so grateful that he made time for us today. Alex Lawson, everyone.
Thanks so much for having me, Mark.
Yes, I'm just always delighted when you come through our world. And I'm also so very troubled about what's happening with Social Security and Medicaid and these things and services that people depend on, and they come so cleanly through your world regularly. I mean, this is a fight you've been in for some time, but I wonder if you can kind of recalibrate for us where we are, what is happening, what's really threatened, what is just a headline. Prioritize it for us.
I wish that this conversation were going to go better than it is, but it won't. What's happened is the most destruction that we've ever seen in the history of this country against our critical systems and earned benefits. So sort of start off at the beginning of the year, and you brought in this billionaire, Elon Musk. This is a guy who's driven by the fact that he doesn't want to pay the same rate into Social Security as all of the rest of us, right? We all pay in on all of our income, but you only pay in on the first $176,000 of income. So Elon Musk, he hits that on the first minute of the first day of every year. Now, if billionaires paid in on all of their income, Social Security would be not only fine for another century, we'd be able to expand benefits, right? It's its 90th anniversary this year. Through war and peace, through boom and bust, through health and pandemic, Social Security's never missed a single payment until now. And why? Because Elon Musk and his Doge crew took a chainsaw and just ran it right through the heart of the Social Security Administration. They pushed out 7,000 to 10,000 workers. This is an agency that was already way understaffed. You have 10,000 baby boomers retiring every day. We need more offices and more workers. But also critically, they targeted the critical infrastructure, the IT infrastructure that's necessary for Social Security to function, for checks to go out. And what we've seen, not everybody's seen it, right? So some people are like, well, my checks are fine so far. And you're like, that's good for you. But let me tell you, if you're me, you're just getting inundated with messages about service disruptions, not being able to go into the offices to try to clear up, why is my check late? Why can't I get my benefits? They're told, oh, just go online. The website's down. Now, not only for the people on the outside, citizens who are trying to access it, but for the workers on the inside, they can't use it either. Then they say, oh, we'll just call the phone number. 5-hour wait time, and then the calls dropped. That's not me. That's Senator Elizabeth Warren did a study. She found that it drops the calls more than it answers them. And now the slap in the face is you have an AI recording lying to you about the Republican budget. So Social Security is in danger, folks. That's the truth. It's in danger. Our checks are in danger, and we need to protect our checks. We need to stand up against this. But that AI is lying also about the Republican budget, because what Mark, what we talk about is all of these systems are interrelated. So when you cut $1 trillion out of Medicaid and healthcare, and hospitals are closing across the country, and nursing homes are closing across the country, 50,000 people dying a year because of this bill. Most of those deaths are occurring with poor seniors with the Medicare savings program and in nursing homes. seniors, people with disabilities. Now you put all of that together, and this is a catastrophe the size of which this country has never seen before.
Wow, you're right about me not being happy with what I was going to hear. I mean, it is really depressing. And I always have felt as though they've gone after Social Security. And by the way, the third rail of American politics is Social Security. It's always sort of felt this sacrosanct quality that Social Security has had. It's always felt protected to me. Like even as all the maelstrom of craziness is going to go down, even in MAGA land, they're not going to touch Social Security. But of course they not only touched it, but as you said, they put the chainsaw through the heart, to use your words. Is your ongoing concern that this is just the beginning of an attempt to privatize it, to so hobble it even further that private industry will move in and it will no longer be a government program if it exists at all?
That's exactly. I mean, they're openly talking about that now, but that's exactly what's going on. So Elon Musk doesn't want to pay the same rate into it as the rest of us, right? The billionaires hate this system because it's an engine of equality. It fights against income inequality, wealth inequality. So they hate it, but they know the American people love this program. And that's not liberals love it, progressives love it. No, you're like your MAGA uncle loves it, your independent aunt loves it, everybody loves it. So what they're trying to do is wreck it so that they can rob it. They want to undermine the system to make it not work so that it's not beloved. And then you have the billionaire Treasury Secretary go on TV, I think 3 days ago or just a few days ago, and he talked openly, smilingly about their attempts of a backdoor privatization of Social Security. The end goal of the Republican experiment or ideology or armed cartel just robbing us as fast as possible, it's always the same, right? They kneecap the mailman, then they complain that the mail is late, and then they just happen to remember that they've got a cousin in the private parcel delivery sector, right? And he's going to charge 4 times as much and deliver half the quality services. Privatization is a ripoff. That's just a transfer of wealth from the people, from us, into the pockets of billionaires. You know who profits off of Social Security? Nobody. That's why the billionaires hate it. It works and they don't make any money. You know who profits off of public education? Nobody. That's why the billionaires hate it and they try to wreck it so that they can rob it. It's the same story over and over and over again. And where we are is actually just the scariest place that I've seen. So yes, we've seen these attacks before, but in my 15 years working on this, and Nancy Altman, the president of Social Security, works is 50 years of working on this. Both of us have never seen anything like this before. And I don't want to, we can move to the, now what do we do? But I do want to just highlight this one thing. Our IT experts, the people who we talk to, who are just like, please get them to reverse these cuts, do everything you can. They're telling us that these disruptions, it's like a warning system, these red flashing lights. And they're saying, once it reaches far enough down into the system, the COBOL system that this whole thing is built on, which actually sends the checks out, that's when we're going to see a stoppage or massive disruption of checks going out. And when that happens, because it's a win, no one is reversing course right now, right? It's full steam ahead. When that happens, that's not one check being disrupted. What the experts that we talk to are telling us is once that starts, they're not sure at all that you can reverse that, right? It's a cascading failure. So as you go to fix one thing, another thing will break. So we're talking about, months of disruption, and that's like best case scenario. And studies have found that millions of Americans, they can't miss one Social Security check, right? One Social Security check and they're homeless, or one Social Security check and they can't pay their skilled nursing facility and they die, right? That's what we're talking about. That is what the Republicans are just careening as fast as possible towards this cliff. And it's like, I think your previous guest was saying, like, yes, they want to wreck it so they can rob it, but don't overestimate these guys' intelligence either. They're not supermen. They believe they are because they were born into wealth and privilege, but they're unleashing forces that they don't control. And when it starts, they're not going to be able to rein it back in.
Wow, there's a lot there. I am thinking about the political gaming of it all. I imagine there'll be the blaming of the Biden administration. They did a bunch of things that there'll be a concoction of falsehoods that sort of populate the explanation for why Social Security is falling apart. And there'll be potentially political damage associated with it for the reasons that you suggested. I do want to get to what we can do, but I just want to follow up on that with you quickly and ask you, how do they avert the clear political damage this third rail of American politics, as we've always understood it to be, will actually wrought? I mean, it is, if you mess with Social Security on your watch, it is politically damaging, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's a death sentence politically. So I will also point out that Medicaid is held in as high esteem, but just a teeny bit less. Medicare is held in just as extreme esteem as Social Security, just a teeny bit less. So all three of them are really the third rail. And they didn't just touch them, right? They took a chainsaw through them, or they're licking them, whatever it is. But they're certainly acting like they will not actually have to face their voters in the future. Because you can't be someone like Representative Miller Meeks in Iowa's 1st Congressional District, right? She won by 800 votes. 800 votes. 67,000 people in that district are going to lose health care because of her vote, right? Like, you can't do that and believe that you have a political future. So, you do the math, you connect the dots, but that's why they're trying to cheat as fast as they can. That's why I think that they are trying to push an authoritarian destruction or disruption of our democratic process, because they know that the people will throw them out on their ear if they get the chance. And, Vice President J.D. Vance, he often holds up this guy, Yarvin, this just white nationalist, neo-Nazi style tech bro, as this
Yarvin. Yeah.
as this great thinker. You should Google like them talking about it, both him and Peter Thiel. They say their ideas are deeply unpopular and they know they can't push them through democratically. So they're going to use technology and whatever else they can to get around the will of the people. So the surveillance state and everything else that they've built, right? That Palantir is this giant corporation that now has eyes on everything and huge contracts with the US government. So I don't think that it is a conspiracy theory at all. I think you have to concoct a wilder conspiracy to explain their behavior, other than they don't believe that they'll face the will of the people. They think that they are actually entering into an age where you only do what the billionaires want, and then the billionaires keep you in power.
First, Cassandra says, thank you, Alex, for explaining things so clearly. It is true that you are just wonderful when you break this stuff down. That's why it's such a luxury to have you here. And I'm also seeing in the chat the question that we are getting to, which is about what can we do? What's your action statement for today, anyway, when it comes to trying to message to leadership that this is not acceptable?
I think what we're seeing is that, as a great philosopher once said, you can fool some people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all of the time, right? We're starting to see that. You're seeing the Manosphere, the Broosphere, the Joe Rogan. They're starting to be like, wait, these guys are a bunch of liars. You're starting to see parts of the country wake up. And, you know, as the hospitals start closing around this country, and that's not in the future, that's now. There's going to be more and more people waking up. You're seeing that in foreign policy, domestic policy. One of the first things is to welcome people in. You don't want to actually be antagonistic. If somebody was wrong, but now the scales are off their eyes and they're seeing the way things are, welcome them in. And that is on us to do. Second, we have to be organized because the authoritarian power structure exists to isolate us, to slice and dice us up into little silos so that we never work together. And the bosses have learned that, you know, over millennia here. So the key is when the people are united, we never lose. So we have to continue building power together. Electoral power is one part of the equation, a critical part of the equation. So the midterms are going to be critical. Representative Miller Meeks is one of, 30-ish Republicans who are deeply vulnerable. If that's something that you are interested in, get involved in electoral politics. But let me tell you, it's not going to be enough. Electoral politics is not going to be enough. We also need just a mass mobilization of the people. And that requires everyone to get organized in whatever network you're in, right? Your house of worship, your church, your book group, your neighborhood, wherever you have the ability to talk to people, do so and invite them in. But also, you plug in, right? You can put, there's so many amazing organizations across this country. Social Security works. We're running a campaign called protectourchecks.com. That's on August 16th. We'll have events all across the country at Social Security offices, getting in the field with your neighbor, shoulder to shoulder, feeling the power of us standing together. Protectourchecks.com. But also you've got Indivisible and you've got all these other groups. Don't try to do it alone. When you're alone, you do have power, but it can be ignored by the state. When we all stand together, we can't be ignored, and never let them fool you that you don't have power. We've seen it time and time again. In fact, the only way to stop autocracy, the only way to stand up to fascists is by regular, everyday people standing up and saying no. And then the politicians follow, but the people have to lead.
Alex, I want to ask if we can, I want to link to Social Security Works, and I assume there is the list of places, Social Security offices where you'll be mobilizing, where this is the kind of organized protest that really we'd all, I think, like to be part of. So that's there on the website, yes?
Yes, and the direct website is protectourchecks.org.
Protectourchecks.org. A lot of people just listen to the show and are not on YouTube and Spotify and elsewhere. So again, we'll have links to that in the description under this, and that'll also show up on Spotify. I'm just a mad fanboy for you. I think you're just great, and I think you do such a great job. And I'm so sorry that we need you so desperately at this moment, but I'm really grateful that you're here. Thank you.
Right back at you. Without truth tellers, the fascists will always win. So we need you more than ever right now. So thank you for having me on.
Protectourchecks.org. Alex Lawson, thanks, my friend. Talk to you soon. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.